So since we are talking about Flutter, you tell me, how did you start with Flutter, and like why Flutter?
Well, so we had an app building demo day where the students learning Flutter were sharing their apps, and the guest speaker was one of my dad's friends, Nathan Denherder, and he was the one who first introduced us to Flutter because he was starting his own startup, called Ardley, and so he was building an app with Flutter, and so when we wanted to build an app, he was like, okay, you guys should use Flutter. So that's how we first started. That's how we were introduced to it. But how we kind of first started using it was, as I mentioned before, we had a lot of different startups. Like my sister, she a few years ago, she wanted to start a girls health app where girls could try to
Wow.
be more healthy, and so I think she was using Xcode at the time, but we were also doing a lot of
Mhm.
a lot of different apps and using Flutter for it. And so one thing that we're doing is for our web app that we're building for WEquil.School, where we have a Flutter app to help kids build Flutter apps. And so that's something that's I think is really cool, is that you can just use this to actually teach people how to use Flutter. And so our first, we call them classrooms, and it's kind of like where you can go in, and then you have a bunch of resources and project ideas, and you can talk with other students that are also doing it. And so we just got the web app up, um, I think a couple days ago, on WEquil.app, WEquul.app, and
Okay, so before we proceed, like I'll ask you a few questions, but yeah, tell me more about this WeQuil thing, because a lot of people might be interesting that you are running a company called WeQuil, right? If I'm not wrong, that you are the CEO. So tell me more about it, and then we will go back to how did you learn Flutter and all that stuff, right? That what was the journey, roadmap, or kind of stuff. So yeah, tell me more about your company.
so WeQuil is the overall brand, and WeQuil.School, which I'm running, is a branch within that. And WeQuil first started out as my dad was writing a marriage blog, and it was East West Equilibrium because my mom's from China, and so I mean the name was very long, so and you can see WEquil.com in that, and so WEquil.com, and then there's also WEquil.School. And so it was, so since East West Equilibrium was kind of long, we shortened it to WEquil, and it's kind of the philosophy of basically everything that we do. And so for WEquil.School, it was basically kind of taking the philosophy of WEquil and applying it to learning. And so there's also WEquil Capital, and WEquil Capital is for like investing. And there's also the WEquil Combinator, where we we fund startups, and a lot of and also we can make it so that kids at WEquil.School can make a like a startup, and then put it in WEquil and go to WEquil Combinator. So they kind of feed into everything. So that's kind of what WEquil is. But for WEquil.School, we're basically taking what we're doing with um with the young people in our virtual school, and trying to scale that with a Flutter app and web app, and that's the WEquil.app. And kind of the goal there is to make it so that kids can learn more about what they actually are interested in, because they don't always know that Flutter exists, or like that they're interested in 3D printing, because they a lot of the time they don't really know that those things are there. So we're trying to build out a self-directed virtual learning platform where kids can kind of see all the classrooms. Right now, we only have the Flutter Apps classroom, and go there and learn more about it. Connect with other kids that are interested in that, and just collaborate and make projects. And that's what we're doing with the virtual school, but we're also trying to scale it in the web app.
Awesome, very awesome. So, like this WEquil.School is what you are working on continuously, right? As of now.
Yeah, well, the it's the for the virtual school, it was kind of a way we first just and we kind of just wanted to see whether or not this worked, because my sister and I, when
Mm,
the lockdown first started, um my parents were kind of just like, you can just learn about whatever you want, and and just kind of, and then write about it and share it with other people, get
mm,
feedback, iterate on it. And so we were just learning so fast, and we were posting a bunch of blog posts on things that we were interested in. Mostly we were summarizing crash course videos, which is
mm.
a YouTube channel. And so we were writing articles about like economics and all these things. And so we were thinking, like, how can we share this with other kids,
Yeah.
so that they can kind of do this as well, because it was just working so well for us. But now we're just trying to scale it with the WeQuil app.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, I mean, the great part about it, what I got to know is that you are learning yourself as well as you are trying others to also, helping others so that they can also learn all the other kids who might be of your age or probably younger or elder than you. So that's a pretty awesome thing, and congratulations for starting that. It's a really wonderful initiative. So, since we are talking about it, you have been doing it. You also run a YouTube channel, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah.
So tell me more about it. Like, what made you start your own YouTube channel, and how it's going so far?
So yeah, well, we have two YouTube channels, one for
Mhm.
WeQuil and one for WeQuil.School. And a lot of it was, I mean, well, a lot, I'd always just been using YouTube to listen to music, but also to learn Flutter. And a lot of what we do at WeQuil.School is like, if you make something, if you go through all the trouble of like writing an article, making a video, you should actually share it with people, because one, you're creating value for other people, and
Yeah.
also, like, you can get feedback and improve on it. And and so when a lot first, we it was mostly just writing articles, and then we would post that on our website. But now a lot of the young people at WeQuil.School are doing video projects, so
Mm.
we put those video projects on the WeQuil.School YouTube channel. But also in the WeQuil.School YouTube channel, I have a few videos where I teach Flutter.
Yeah.
So I have two playlists. One is just Flutter tutorials, which is more longer videos, and then
Mm.
Flutter widgets, where it's just a bunch of different widgets, because I was having a lot of fun going through YouTube and seeing all these widgets, because it was really cool, because it expanded
Mm.
your knowledge of the possibilities of what you can do. It's like, oh, there's
Yeah.
this cool widget where I can do that. I didn't know I could do this. Now I can implement it into my app.
Amazing. I'm really amazed to see the understanding which you have about the things at such a kind of a very young age. And I cannot even like, think that what I was doing at my time. But I just hope that people like you or people who are currently looking to learn can get some inspiration from you, that nothing is actually very tough or impossible, or you can get everything sorted if you want to get things done. And I mean, the way you mentioned that when you will learn, if you are helping others as well, it will actually help you back, right? Because when you are sharing things, it is actually making you like understand things better, kind of, right? Even when you make a YouTube video, it's sometimes you also get to know, oh, this is not working, oh, maybe this is something which I am doing wrong. So there's always some learning, which I personally have also felt. So like, okay, by the way, I just want to mention that the links I'll provide in the description of her YouTube channel and the WEquil.School and the app which she has built. So she has built a wonderful app which she has mentioned, and I haven't checked it yet, but I'll definitely check it out as well. So yeah, you can check it out. And I have watched her YouTube video as well, where there was one video which was kind of like crash course kind of video about Flutter. That was really wonderful. Great job. And I'll suggest a lot of people to watch it, at least if you are learning Flutter. And so tell me about your journey, like, how you started learning Flutter. That I got to know, but how did you learn it actually? Like, did you prefer to go to some particular like website, some apps you built, or how did you approached it?
So I first started out learning from Wei Jiang, our CTO, and he was
Hmm.
a really big help in kind of introducing object-oriented programming and kind of showing the concepts and setting us up. He's really awesome, and but it's also kind of a funny story where I was teaching my little sister Isla how to build Flutter, and also one of our neighbors, and they were just learning so fast, and they were just picking things up really quickly, and so I was kind of panicking because I needed to learn more Flutter in order to have new things to teach them, and so I was searching all over YouTube and learning more things, learning these new widgets, learning these new concepts, and so and so a lot of it was not only that, because one of the things that we do in WEquil.School is like teaching is the best way to learn, because you have to you have to reinforce your understanding of something in order to teach it
Yeah.
to somebody else, and so by me teaching Isla and teaching our neighbor, and then more people started joining my classes. I think that really helped me in learning Flutter better, because I was teaching people and I was able to retain it better, and so I was also writing everything out. So I have a if
Hmm.
you go to coda.io/@sume dash mecfail slash learning dash flutter, I just wrote out everything, because I wanted to retain it for myself. So if I learned something about it, I didn't want to forget it. So I would write down, put a little paragraph about what it does, and then have a code block of just like, this is a
Hmm.
simple way you could do it. Here's some properties on how you can kind of customize it for your app. And so I just built out this giant thing, and but a lot of it was I had a lot of help from Way, and so I'm really thankful for that.
Awesome. So, what was your or not just in the past, but even today, what's your main learning kind of resource from where you learn? Is it YouTube? Is it some website, or like how you just approach it?
Well, I have a lot of different resources in terms of Flutter, like your YouTube channel. I use for for learning Flutter. I was looking back on your videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've watched some of these, and I think I don't really have a specific resource that I keep coming back to. That I really use by itself for everything. I think for math, I use Khan Academy. Um,
Mm.
for history, I would mostly use use Crash Course, but also in the front page of WEquil.app, there's a Google sign in, and I actually use one of your videos to build that, and so I think a lot of it is kind of is kind of going on Google, going on YouTube, searching up what you want, and then just finding the best people. And I would definitely say you're one of the top people teaching Flutter on YouTube.
Thank you. Awesome. So, okay, tell me one more thing. Like right now,